Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time I'm checking out a new RPG called Anno Mutationem from Chinese developer Thinking Stars. Anno takes place in a dystopian cyberpunk future, and places the player in the role of Flores, part-time bartender, amateur detective and skilled fighter. He was on a mission to locate her brother, who has mysteriously disappeared under suspicious circumstances. The game combines classic Metroidvania platforming with a semi-open world to explore, and fast-paced visceral combat. The game appears to be heavily influenced by anime classics like Ghost in the Shell, with neon-drenched cityscapes and futuristic humans with cyborg implants pushing the boundary between human and machine. It turned out that this isn't a coincidence, as one of the character designers worked on the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series. The game is dripping with style, as it seamlessly transitions between incredibly detailed 2D pixel art and modern 3D animation. But is the gameplay as slick as the story? The game begins with us following Anne's daily life in Scop City, where she works as a consultant for the police force helping to solve difficult crimes. Anne suffers from a mysterious cybernetic virus called Intanglitis, which causes her to black out for periods of time. As a result, she's distanced herself from other people out of a fear she may hurt someone during one of her blackouts. Anne is working with Alan Doyle, a doctor trying to find the cure for the virus by gathering data about Anne through a state-of-the-art combat suit. Anne finds out her brother Ryan disappeared after getting involved with the city's underworld. Anne, along with her best friend Ayane, a brilliant hacker, begins a journey through the city's underbelly to find her brother, battling cyber terrorists, futuristic gangsters, and a criminal organisation with a connection to Intanglitis. The story is your classic mix of anime and cyberpunk tropes, throwing in an interesting cast of characters with their own backstories, along with a main character that I found likeable. The only issue was that there was a problem with the translation, with character dialogue not matching the subtitles. The developers have gone to great lengths to flesh out Anne's city, allowing the player a great deal of freedom in how they want to approach the game. Anne's family bar acts as a central hub, where you can talk to your family members, pick up jobs from some of the patrons, and even enjoy retro video games like Pong on your father's old arcade machines. The city is massive in size, with multiple sectors that can be traversed on foot and by vehicle. Each sector has their own set of jobs, side missions and collectibles to find. In addition to working as a bartender, you'll have to complete jobs in each sector for your family, the police, and Dr. Doyle. While many of these missions were your generic fetch quests, developers threw in some interesting jobs. These included entering a martial art tournament, tracking down a serial killer, and uncovering the identity of a pop idol. The game is packed full of activities and mini-games that are a dream come true for completionists. Furthermore, these missions reward you with money to spend on weapon and health pickups, or powerful upgrades making combat a lot easier. The main campaign also includes a mix of platforming and combat, with Anne battling a variety of human and robotic enemies ranging from attack drones, combat cyborgs, lightsaber-wielding gangsters, and gigantic worms. The game gets the fundamentals largely correct, with Anne able to use a variety of swords at close range and a number of ranged weapons including both ballistic and laser weapons. Battle takes cues from classics like Dead Cells, with Anne able to dodge roll, block and even parry attacks. This feels smooth thanks to the tight controls, but there are certain aspects I found irritating. Certain enemies could walk through my attacks, and there were respawning aerial enemies during boss fights that would often hover outside my range. While early game missions felt a little easy, there's a sharp difficulty curve early on in the campaign, with a nasty boss requiring me to invest in some upgrades. The game's upgrade system allows you to learn both combat skills like combo attacks, aerial juggles, and evasive moves when mastered, and can make battle far more manageable. This means you'll want to pick an upgrade path that matches your weapon. So do I recommend Anno Mutationem? Honestly, this game is one of my favourite indie titles this year, with an open world that is fun to explore, a combat system that's incredibly challenging, at least early on, and one of the best implementations of mixing 2D and 3D graphics I've seen in an indie. There's a massive amount of content for an indie game, with collectibles, side missions and mini games that offer a little bit more than your standard fetch quests we've seen in so many RPGs. I went from mixing drinks in a bar, to fighting in a martial art tournament, to battling giant worms in an underground lab. The only criticism I had was the issues with translation, and the sudden difficulty spikes from bosses that forced me to load a previous save. I highly recommend this game for people wanting an RPG that strays away from established norms. Just be aware that the game doesn't take itself too seriously. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe as it helps the channel. I hope you'll join me next time when we review another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.